think we're live now. Okay. Hi, you guys. This is Gina. I'm Leah.
Hi, everyone.
And this is, we're going to attempt to do a chakra reading and a little healing session here so you can see how chakras move, how energy moves, and we're going to work with Gina, whatever's going on with her today to do that, okay? I do healing work. I've been doing healing work for about 22, 25 years or so. And I use a pendulum in my hands to read the chakras and also just kind of get a sense of what's going on with her overall. We haven't talked today, so we'll see what's coming up, okay? So, Gina, tell us a little bit about what's going on with you, how you're feeling.
So, just, I've been sick for a bit. I've had the flu for the past couple of days. I'm finally feeling better. But it's been a long year. It's been, kind of a emotionally heavy year. So, this is perfect timing for me. I could use to definitely ground myself and get some balancing and see if there's anything that I need to pay attention to. And I know that I know how gifted you are with being able to show me that. So this is, right on time as usual.
So I actually worked with Gina, was it 2 years ago? A year and a half ago?
Yeah.
We did a full healing session then, so I don't think I've seen you.
No, we haven't done another one.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So basically what I'm going to do then today is just do a chakra reading and see what shows up. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about what that is for people watching and also just for you to understand a little bit more about that. And then after I do the reading, I'll do a little hands-on work and then give you some ideas of things that can help you rebalance, all right? Okay. Are you having anxiety, fears, frustration?
Always fear is a bit of an issue. I kind of feel like there's some new avenues I'd like to set myself out on. And
as
there's
far as
some
career?
fear. Yeah, well, as far as just, recognizing and seeing where else I might want to go, what else I might want to do, for myself, purposefully, to live more purposefully. But, so fear is always a factor in my life, and I want to stand alongside of it instead of having it stand in front of me. So,
So any other thing going on in general?
No, other than feeling like I was sick last week and just, kind of creeping out of this year and getting ready for 2017, which I know is going to be, triumphant.
Yeah. Okay, good. So I'm going to put Gina down the table and I'm going to move the camera a little bit. Yeah, you go ahead and lay back. Your head will be there. I'm going to put this here.
I'll take this off.
Excuse us just a moment while we situate this a little better. Okay. All right. So, can you see Gina? Yes. All right. I'm going to move this. Do you need your scarf?
I don't know. I don't think so. Right now I'm not cold. So.
Okay. So basically I'm going to start at your root chakra and then I'm going to go all the way up and read the 7 main chakras. And I'm also going to read a little bit out of your energy field around your arms and then different layers of your chakra system above your body, okay, just to get a full idea. And you just relax. And then when we're finished, I'm going to put some crystals on your body to balance the energy while I work on your energy field. So I have those here. So this just takes a few minutes, and we'll see what's going on here. Are you fully relaxed in your legs? And okay. So basically I'm just watching the energy move. And we'll do another video at some time in the future just about chakra reading so people can see how this actually works here. So there's a slight imbalance in the root chakra, which isn't too surprising, I suppose. The root chakra deals with feeling safe, feeling grounded, feeling anchored, and your root chakra is weak, but it's also in balance. So I see that in the way that the energy is moving. So that initially, when your root chakra is off balance, it can kind of throw everything else off a little bit. So we'll see how that plays out on the rest of your chakras. But that energy is definitely weak and imbalanced there. I'm just going to go on up the rest of them and then tell you what I find after the end of each. So your sacral chakra is open and nice. It's not super strong. What are you laughing at? Because of all the activity there?
I kind of knew that, yeah.
She's having second chakra explosions. And your solar plexus is actually nice and strong also. Okay, but still imbalance here in your heart area. So the heart obviously signifies grief, is the thing that blocks the heart the most. It can also be just kind of latent energy feelings of, directed towards self. Yours seems to be a combination. The way it's reading to me is kind of blocking love in as well as the flow out. It could be still some latent grief, but it feels more active than that. It feels more kind of present today than that. So I don't know, we can talk about that at the end, but there's definitely some, it's like a heavy block, Does that make sense?
Yes, we gotta get rid of that.
Okay. So far we'll work on the heart and the root chakra. And they may be combined, the fear of moving forward, the fear of what's going on may be a problem showing up here as well, right? Throat chakra's nice though. Okay, your crown chakra, your brow chakra, your throat chakra, all these are very nicely open. So your main issue is the heart area, but it's representing first in the root chakra. Second chakra is open, but not super strong, but it's definitely active. Your solar plexus is totally fine, and your heart chakra. Do you have a question about what the chakras mean or represent?
No, I'm pretty okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start focusing on the heart. I'm going to put the crystals on you. And today, basically, on the I'm just using basic chakra balancing crystals. On the root chakra, we'll use black obsidian. We'll do sacral for carnelian for the sacral. We'll do citrine for the solar.
What does the solar represent again?
The solar plexus is it really represents kind of how you present yourself to the world.
Okay.
So your self-will, your determination, your willpower, self-worth. A lot of things that come up as an imbalance of the solar plexus chakra is like shame and feeling worthlessness or worth. Is that the word? Worthlessness. Like you want to hide, or then it presents itself in the work arena, like you're not really sure what to do with yourself, or you're not living to the full potential of what you could be because you're kind of blocked by the shame, the issues of weak-willed kind of thing.
Okay.
We'll do rose quartz for your heart chakra, silver light for your throat chakra, and then I'll put a little amethyst right here. Amethyst is nice. Hold on to the pendulum. And basically now I'm just going to spend a few minutes, if anyone's watching or want to watch. You're not going to see that much, but I'm going to do some hands-on energy healing work with her directed towards the heart and the root chakra. It's going to be hard to get toward your feet in front of the camera, but I'll do some other grounding work around your hips and your knees, okay? But we'll start here at your head, and I just want to make sure and feel. So the heart issue, I don't know where you are in personal relationship. Right now, I know stuck. Okay, so I think that's what's happening here. There's a lot of fear about getting into a trusted intimacy, love kind of situation. Although you have a lot of love energy in your life, because through friendships or work or what have you, you don't have an issue kind of sharing that aspect of yourself, right?
No.
It's just, would you call it fear? And
It's got to be fear.
yeah.
Fear or some block that I don't know of, maybe from a past life.
Yeah, I think it's really rooted in fear of loss, fear of,
There we go.
yeah. Because if you risk the love, right, you're going to open yourself to risk another loss. So you can just relax here for a little bit, and if anything comes up, I'll talk to you about it again. Your crown, your third eye are nicely open and almost borderline overactive. I don't know if you've got a lot on your mind right now, or like you want to do more than you can right now or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of showing up around your crown and head area. It doesn't feel extremely stressful. It's just maybe a little bit more balance and needing to push some of this energy flowing down, like in a meditation or an exercise. We'll talk about that when I'm finished, about how you can redistribute some of that energy. Because you have a good deal amount of it here that could actually go towards your sacral chakra, the weak chakra down there, and the root chakra. So what I'm sensing is this heart stuff, it goes back quite a long ways, even if you've had a relationship in the last decade or so. This, and I may be wrong, but this feels like that there was a wounded heart back when you were quite young that is still kind of making you afraid. Yeah. Is that true?
It could be, yeah.
Okay. So that's the energy there. I slightly remember, well, when you came before you had your mother's death, right? So we were dealing with a lot of grief, but there's a heavy kind of imbalance here. So that leads me to believe that it's, it's not new, it's not like recent grief, but also just tuning into it. It feels like I see you when you're younger, even teenager kind of thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes we're not aware of what that feels like in our present body, but it does stay active in our energy system if we haven't fully processed it. And we, just like anything, we find ways to maneuver around a particularly difficult feeling, especially when we're young, that we just kind of, want to displace it somewhere so we can keep going, and we have to keep going, right? But when we do that, it's something, it can be sneaky, or it's like a pattern that we don't trust in ourselves, that if I love again, or if I do this again, I'm going to have that feeling.
Right.
It's still tied into that. And that's, if it wasn't an intimate relationship, then it feels like another relationship from back then.
Could be an intimate relationship from when I was younger.
Is it intimate relationship?
Okay, yeah.
Younger, okay. It doesn't mean you need to do much about it. Besides just, be aware of it. And sometimes the practice of going back into that emotion of what that felt like by journaling, writing, you don't need to contact the person unless you want to, but nothing. But just continue working with it a little bit to free that up, and invite something different in, because it's going to be different, but right now it's having a hard time finding its way into your life because you're still, your energy is still kind of placed there. Not all of it, but a good portion of this.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I know Gina also does Reiki herself, right? Reiki 1 or 2?
Both, too. Yeah.
Reiki 1 and 2.
Thanks to you and James.
Yes. So you probably enjoy energy work yourself, don't you?
I do.
And for those of you that haven't had it, it feels kind of like, it's different for everyone. What does it feel like to you? Is it
It's very calming,
calming?
and it's like an inner knowing, my inner knowing meeting with your inner knowing.
Mm-hmm. Like when I get energy work, within seconds, I go into I drop into like a different...
Dropped, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can feel it.
Different realm, yeah. I'm going to do a little bit of physical work here just to open up that energy channel. finish in just a few moments, we'll recheck those chakras and see what's going on. Now the root chakra here is, normally I would be at your feet, but while I'm doing this movement through your body, I want you to breathe and imagine that your feet are touching the earth at the bottom, right in the middle of your feet here, and that as you exhale, all of the energy flows down through the bottom of your feet, okay? And while you're doing that, I'm just going to be doing some different manipulation here. Full energy session usually lasts about an hour, so this is going to be a short circuit, but we'll get as much done as we can today. Yeah, and just keep that energy flowing down. So this is a very personal question, but I'm going to ask it because I need to know. How is everything functioning well in your digestive system?
I was sick, and that was a part of the sickness.
The
Like
digestive is
stomach flu,
part of the
yeah.
sickness. Okay, so some stomach flu. So there's some stagnant stuff here, but it feels like it's been overly working, but
Yes.
there's like some stagnant energy around it. So it doesn't feel like it was healthy elimination for a
Right.
while. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to quickly go into these sidewalls here next to where your bowel is and do some massaging and loosening up here so it's, is that painful?
No, I
Okay.
feel it though. You know?
Yeah.
Like now that you're there, I feel like you need to be there.
Yeah. So a big part of the root chakra too is this digestive elimination aspect of our bodies and our
Right.
lives, right? And so when we feel safe, we feel like we can flow better and things do flow better. You know, even if we're not aware of the safety issue, but generally people with anxiety, fear, kind of long-term, that energy of long-term, or it doesn't have to be long-term, but we either overgo,
Right.
you know, we have no control,
Mhm.
which makes us feel out of control, or we hold because
Right.
we're not trusting the process of life, right? So this was probably likely due to part of that sickness, but it could be related too to this issue of, trust, I think,
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. And I think that a part of the grieving process for me has been about that, you
Yes.
know, like redefining, family dynamic, redefining
Yeah.
safety.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that person that signified,
Gone,
yes, is not, well, she's on the other side.
No, but yeah.
She's not right here.
The physical aspect.
Yes, I know. Are you doing probiotics?
Yeah. No, I should though.
Yes, you should be doing
Okay.
probiotics right now. I want to restore, there's a little bit of an imbalance in the internal flora going on, which is cramping this in a little bit. So it's kind of like starts and stops
Right.
is what it feels like to me, like a lot and then stop, a lot,
Yeah.
stop, that kind of thing, right? So we want to increase those probiotics and get some, I wouldn't even worry about, adding fiber or anything right now. And here too, there's a little bit of stagnation in your psoas muscle. Do you feel that pressure
I
there?
do.
Yeah. Do you ever have low back or issue back here?
Yes.
Okay, so she's having some stagnation here in the psoas, which connects back into the back of the sacral area. Obviously, this is in the realm of the root chakra, but physically,
Yeah.
this is a point where of the inflexibility of this hip joint function, right? And it can cause a lot of backaches.
And it does.
Yes, and so one thing that you can do for yourself, I know it can be uncomfortable when someone else does it, but I'm really just working right here near her hip flexor, just down below her hip flexor a little bit. If you have like a bigger size ball, like a grapefruit size ball, gently, you could roll on it a little bit gently there too. Or do inversion, or not inversion stretches, but back bend stretches, like,
Okay.
I'll show you a couple of them. because you want to free this up.
Yeah, and I've been
There's
trying to figure out ways to stretch that out.
Yes. And the psoas too, there's a wonderful book on the psoas app, and I think it's just called the psoas book. It's one of the deepest places where we store seated
Really?
emotions.
Because as you're pressing, I can feel it in my lower back.
Yeah. So a lot of our emotions here, and in particular too in the hip joint here, okay? So for you, the physical aspect of freeing up this root chakra and feeling safe is to get your digestive organs flowing better and freeing up some of the psoas energy. And you will notice as you free up your hips and the psoas, a lot of emotion may come forth.
Oh, really?
Yes, we store so much right here.
Okay.
But it's important to try to do that, okay? Just do a little bit on your other side. We sometimes have this backwards philosophy thinking, if we hold, then we won't lose something,
Crazy.
right?
Yes.
But the holding actually keeps us from having,
Right.
and it's physically, emotionally, it's one of the biggest issues that hold us up in our life. Not
Right.
hold us up, but it really does. It keeps us at a distance from that which we want,
Right.
but we can't visualize because if our heart is stuck, it's hard to move forward with what we want without letting,
Yeah.
opening and trusting the flow.
And it's been such a noticeable pattern for me. I've been
Yes.
becoming more aware of the blocks there
Good, yeah.
in my heart, and moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and this where I'm working now too starts to get into the second chakra energy, and that has a lot to do with intimacy.
Yeah.
As we know, creativity. You mentioned you want to try some new things,
Yeah.
right? So this is another vital area that you want to
Open up.
and keep fluid, keep moving. It's just like when you eat, it goes in, what we don't need comes out.
Right.
And the same can happen with our emotions
Right.
if we allow them to process through and eliminate in a healthy way. See how stagnant this is right here? Are you okay?
I feel it. Yeah. It's okay.
Okay. If we had a lot of time, I would turn you over and work on the back side of that, but you can work it here and on the side of your hip. Okay. And sometimes, okay, raise your leg, just put your foot down. Yeah, like that. Okay. Just get all your weight into my hand right here, and there you go. See how deep we can go there? Is that okay?
Yes.
So basically, I'm just working a little bit deeper into her psoas to release that muscle. It's very intense.
It is.
So I'm going to sit at your head, and actually from your shoulder points, the energy meridians, I'm going to run just some energy down through the center of your body, down through your feet. So you may return back to that idea of exhaling through the bottom of your feet, or at least just imagining the energy running down through your feet, okay? You may feel a little bit of pressure, but I'm just going to allow you to do this. A lot of this work, whether you're getting work done or you're doing the work, is part of the client's job is to work with great intention, using your mind, your breath, your energy as a focal point to help the healer and help be healed. As we talk about and discover what the issues are, come up. The work doesn't just end right now. So now we have the information. And then you apply different practices in an ongoing way to help start to restore the energy in the bodies. You know, there are immediate shifts that can happen, but typically when we have a pattern set, like this heart energy that's been there for quite some time, and that's been also compounded with a loss a couple of years ago, that is going to take some ongoing work to shift all that energy. The grounded stuff, we'll talk about it when we're finished, and it's there's some easy and fun things to do for that. Okay, I'm going to check the chakras again. And for those of you that don't know how to use a pendulum, I'm going to do a video on how to use a pendulum pretty soon. Okay, open, not super strong, still slightly imbalanced, but it's more open than when we started in your root chakra, so that's good news. And this just happens after, 10-15 minutes of work, so the second chakra is much more open now, so that's great. There's a lot of energy you have stored here, right? So I want this to be an ongoing work for you, at least for the next couple of weeks. Be mindful about that, yeah. So we open that a lot. Solar still kind of where it was, nicely open. Heart wanting to open. There's a little open energy going on there, but it's still in the same kind of pattern of imbalance. Like it wants to keep being in the imbalance, but there's a little bit of openness there. Okay, I'm going to get some sage and do a little smudging on you. Whenever I finish a healing session, I always do sage smudging to clear the room, to clear you, to clear me. Stomach's talking now.
It is.
Okay, I'm going to check just one more thing. Just overall kind of. right, so let's talk quickly about what you can do, what you're going to do, all right?
Okay.
So you're going to, first of all, work on the digestive issues, include probiotics, reducing sugar, and,
I have to reduce sugar.
huh?
I have to reduce sugar.
Yeah,
I
get
wanted
that
to do
sugar down,
yeah.
yes. Increase your probiotics for sure. Start taking them every day. Then you can cut to every other day once you get everything restored here. But you should be having, 1 to 2 healthy movements a day.
Okay.
And then for you, again, inside these hip points, just, you can keep your knees flexed like so and do gentle massage. It's very tender in there, so you don't want to do too much too fast, and start releasing that psoas point. You can also actually scooch over a little bit. I'm going to show on the table this just very gently. This is created gently to do this yoga position. If you on your knees, you can lean back and then go back as far as you can. If you can grab your heels, and that's great, and then push your hips forward and your heart up. Okay, this isn't for everyone, but it's also a great shoulder and chest opener.
Okay.
But to move this energy forward here in your hips. All right. I think for you that the root chakra fear issue is a culmination of the heart and sacral fear of intimacy.
Right.
That's what I think is going on. And so on an emotional level, I would encourage a lot more self-intimacy, whether physically and take yourself on dates. Like get into like having a relationship with yourself a little more, because that's going to help build the trust. Rooting, getting grounded is easy. You can jump and run and put your feet on the earth. Salt baths for your feet.
Okay.
Soaking your feet in
to do
salt
that more
baths.
often. Okay.
Yeah, soaking your feet in salt baths, warm water is wonderful, or salt baths for your body. Just make sure you're taking your minerals and magnesium in particular if you're doing that a lot. But dancing, any of this kind of fluid movement, running, jogging, walking, yoga, dancing, all that kind of stuff helps to ground a person.
Okay.
When you're in meditation or even just thinking, or if you get stressed or scared, you have a lot of this beautiful energy here in your upper crown chakras and your third eye chakra that we want to balance and move down. So for you, it's always about anchoring yourself, right? So getting anchored. Essential oils are wonderful for that. You can put them on the bottom of your feet, like our presence oil.
Okay.
Put them on the bottom of your feet on your lower back.
Right.
So those things will help get you anchored. But the big issue is going to be getting the sacral energy flowing healthily and continue paying attention to the heart. Yeah. You shake your head. Yeah, the heart. I mean,
it's because we know it's been I know it's been an issue.
Yes, it is, and it's
time.
Well, if you want that, it is time.
Yeah.
At your soul level, yes.
Yeah.
But you have to make that decision in this now. Or in this time. But I think starting with the self first, like getting into a more intimate relationship with yourself. Even if it's saying no to other people's social activities, to spend a little more time loving yourself.
Right.
Fully loving yourself in all those ways, because then it's hard to have somebody come into your life when you're still kind of navigating through your own waters.
Yeah.
And if we're in self-judgment too much, then we become overly judgmental of other people.
Of others, absolutely.
Yeah. So those would be the things to continue working on. Okay. All right. So this is Gina, and if you have any more personal questions, afterwards we can talk.
Okay.
But bye, you guys.
Bye. Fantastic.